Welcome back to Retro Tech Toys. I wanted to do a hardware video because we've been doing a lot of gaming videos lately, and I like to do hardware and games equally, so I've always seen the channel as kind of 50% hardware and 50% gaming, and it was time to do an older Mac video. I haven't had a G5 on here, or even a white Intel Mac on here since we did this video and since we did the restoration on the white Intel Mac, and it's been months, so I thought it was time. I thought we'd have a little bit of a laid-back day today and talk about this G5 and talk about whether or not they're still useful in 2021. So let's get started. Okay, we're back. So this G5 iMac was the same one that I featured months ago when I cleaned it up and we checked it out to see if these things were still useful, but that was back in 2020 and it's 2021. There have been some changes, a lot of changes in fact. First of all, Apple went from PowerPC to Intel, and then they went from Intel to their own architecture. So they've gone from PowerPC, they hit Intel, and then they've left Intel again. Now we have the Mac M1. I actually use a Mac Mini M1 for a lot of things. I use it for video editing. In fact, I'm editing this video on it. I use it for music production. It's a great machine, and you know, at $699 for the base model, which is what I have, you really can't beat it. But you know, this G5 iMac, it was more expensive when it came out. This came out around mid-2005, and it was discontinued at the end of 2005. This particular model has 1.5 gigs of DDR RAM. They can go up to 2 gigabytes. This one doesn't have that. I'm pretty happy with what it's got. It's got a 2 gigahertz PowerPC G5 processor. It has 128 megabytes of video RAM. So not a bad machine for 2005, really. I mean, a really good machine. Is it still useful now? You look, and 2005 was, you know, what was it, 16 years ago. So this computer's 16 years old, completely unsupported by Apple. This particular model runs Tiger. You can run Leopard on these, and there's even a project where someone's trying to get Snow Leopard to run on them, but I haven't checked on that for a while. I don't know what the progress is on that. I'll have to look that up again just to see what's going on. And man, maybe we'll give it a try. Can you use this thing in 2021 is the big question. And yeah, I mean, there are a lot of things you can use it for. One of the big changes that I wanted to talk about, it's not just that Apple has changed architectures multiple times since this came out. Another thing is that the web browser that we all love and use, 10.4 Fox, is coming to a close. The developers are not going to be working on it anymore. The final release has already been put out. It will continue to be supported until September, so I would go get that version now and put it on your PowerPC Mac. Now, I wouldn't recommend using a G5 with Mac OS for anything serious in terms of web browsing. I mean, YouTube is going to look bad on it, and you're going to have to super compress any of the YouTube videos that you want to watch to make them watchable. There are some websites, and I think there are some extensions that offer services to help shrink down the videos, but that's just not a good experience in my opinion. So I don't think it's the best video streaming PC by any means. And you know, everybody always says, well, Macintoshes don't have viruses, but that's not true. They actually do, and there's plenty of malware that's written for Macs these days. And even more so when you have an OS that's completely unsupported and has been unsupported for a long time. I really don't recommend that you use this computer to log into Facebook or to pay your credit card bills or anything like that. You're not going to get a secure web browsing experience. With 10.4 Fox coming to a close, it's even worse. So once that's completely done, I mean, it's going to be the Wild West if you're using this thing for internet surfing. You can use it for basic productivity, so if you're a writer like I am, and used to write books for a living, and if you do that, it's a perfectly good machine for that. You can use Pages, an older version of Word that would have been compatible with this. You could use Scrivener. They actually still have versions on their website that are fully compatible with PowerPC machines. So all of those options work great. In fact, I'll show you here. I've got an older version of Scrivener right here. In case you're not aware of what Scrivener is, it's actually a word processing program that allows you to keep all of your notes in one place. You can separate your books out by chapter, and you can even save it as an ebook and it totally compiles it for you. So I'm not sponsored by these guys or anything, but I've been using the software for a long time. So it works for basic spreadsheets and word processing. It works fine to play older retro games on it. I believe there's a version of Minecraft that still runs perfectly well. So you can do that stuff on it. If you're looking to play some light gaming for some, nostalgic reasons, or you're looking to just maybe go onto Macintosh repository and download some old stuff just to see how it does on the internet for fun, that's okay. If you want to use it for any older programs that you still have, like an older music production program would work. Photoshop CS4 still works on it. You can download Audacity. And as I've mentioned previously, there's even an app store that's a third-party program that someone made called PPC App Store. So what it does is it compiles a lot of different programs that still run on here, and you can go and download it. Now, just so you know, Clean My Mac is on there. Please don't use that. That is a horrible program. Please don't install that onto your Mac. There's still plenty of other good stuff on here. You can download Audacity. There's a version of Spotify. I don't know if it still works, but it's on here to download. So there's plenty of stuff that you could still do in terms of older applications that might still work. Gaming, word processing, spreadsheets, and all that kind of stuff. So basic productivity, this machine's got you. If you've got one of these sitting in storage or an attic, or you can get one for $50 or something, it's a great basic productivity machine still. So yeah, that's a wonderful use and a perfectly legitimate use in 2021. What I would suggest is to max out the RAM on it, maybe get a newer hard drive put in if you're brave enough. Absolutely still a really fun and snappy experience. As you can see, Tiger is still perfectly snappy on here, and I'm sure Leopard runs just fine as well. I mean, basically in a nutshell, there's still plenty that you can do with it if you're careful, and mostly avoid the internet. Unless, and that's what we're going to talk about now, you put a flavor of Linux onto it. So that's something you can do, and we're not going to do that today, but I will link a tutorial that someone wrote that tells you how to put Ubuntu onto the G5 Mac. So that works on PowerPC still. There's a version that still has support. I believe it's version 16.04, but you can correct me if I'm wrong if you know better in the comments. And I'll put the website up for that where you can download it, and I'll put the tutorial up that teaches you how to create a bootable USB for that. You can put Linux on here, and then all of a sudden you're protected again. You can surf the internet, you can do more serious work. The one thing that's going to hold you back is the G5 processor is 16 years old, so you're going to have a lot of issues doing anything modern on it. It's possible, but it's not going to be anywhere near as fun as like a basic budget machine. It's not going to be as snappy. I'm going to do a video soon on the Intel machines since Apple's completely left Intel behind. Well, they haven't completely left it behind, but they're about to. We've moved on to the M1, and the i3s are replaced, and the i5s and the i7s and so forth are going to be replaced soon. And then, you're going to have nothing but Apple Silicon on a Mac. But I just wanted to address that you can put Linux on here, and, it's a modern OS, and it'll run. So in summary, I think the G5 is still perfectly usable in 2021 if you set your limitations and you know what you want to use it for, and that's what you stick with. So if you have uses for it, everything's usable. I mean, a Commodore 64 is perfectly usable if you still have uses for it. If you want to play old games, or if you have old programs that still work for you, it's usable. Everything's usable if you have a use, but we all know that. In terms of modern usage, there are still some things that you can do with a PowerPC computer. And I expect that for many years to come, that will still be the case. Just so you know before you go, we are doing a giveaway. I will be doing a video on that tomorrow, and it will be released on Saturday. That tells you exactly what to do to enter the giveaway. I'm going to have a bigger prize, and then we're going to have a couple of consolation prizes. I'll be talking more about that. The sign up for the contest is super easy. I made it extremely easy. It's not going to be a problem for any of you, and I think you'll be really excited about some of the things that we're giving away. Also, I'm proud to announce that Retro Tech Toys YouTube channel is sponsored by PCB Way. PCB Way is a wonderful website where you can get any kind of printed circuit board designed and delivered. So definitely go check them out, and I'll be having some videos coming up soon with some of their products. As always, thank you so much for watching Retro Tech Toys. Be safe. We'll see you next time.